We're on Larry's channel now.
Yeah, share it. Brian and Pat and anybody who gives a fuck, share it, because we had where are you? Ick?
Hi.
There you are. Yeah, everybody share it.
Everybody share it. It's chaotic. It's Boulevard Bullies. That's what the hell happens. I tried to do another live, and then they saw me talking to my kid and get mad. So that's going to be a funny one.
Well, we're live.
So, Larry Legend, we want to let's talk about let's jump right into war games because we ain't got time to waste. We're gonna jump. Nobody had a clue to help, but she did her damn thing. But other than that, an EOS guy jumping off the damn cage with a trash can, there wasn't anything that was too captivating to me.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't see any of it. I didn't see one inkling of the Survivor Series. Because it was my birthday. And if they're not having the Survivor Series in Baltimore, hey, what do I give a fuck?
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But at the same time, did they contact you and ask you that it was your birthday?
No, they were too far up Jerry Lawler's ass. Because it's his birthday too.
Physically and mentally, they were up. How old is he now? Like 80?
Gotta be 80. 79. No. So for real, the real deal is this. I steal and whenever I try to steal WWE, it is extra hard. Like the stream, the buffer, the things that I gotta close. They're like, just give up, motherfucker. You're not getting our shit for free. So I tried and I tried and I tried Saturday night to watch it, but I could not steal it.
So you didn't watch any war games then? You didn't watch any of that Survivor Series?
I heard everything. I heard all the reviews and everything about it. But I did not watch any of it. I watched more of Full Gear because when I would try to steal Full Gear, it was very accessible. And that's my as a average motherfucker, when I try to like steal WWE's content, it's very hard. Tony's content is very easy to steal.
You gotta get on that watchwrestling.org or whatever the fuck it is.
That is what I was on. That's all I used to steal. But when I tried for Tony shit, smooth sailing. I don't even have to like close too many windows. It's on. I'm watching. When I watch Hunter shit, it's like when it is playing, and then they're like, I have to do so many more like clicks to get to it. That then I'm eventually like, fuck this show, bro. We can talk about whatever we want. We're in charge.
We'll talk about your man taco meat you got because he's frozen now. He's frozen solid.
Hold on. How about now?
Your move. I can see you're good. So let's talk about
flannel. This is my hardcore hillbilly.
Hey, somebody brought up in the comments earlier that hardcore hillbilly got a fucking new haircut. Good. It's called a shullet or something. Somebody said a shullet. Yeah, I don't know what the.
As long as he looks like he comes from Marietta County, Georgia.
I don't know where the hell he's coming from with this goddamn haircut he supposedly has, but it's got some people concerned. But you can buy this beautiful. We got a couple more of these shirts. He's got some big things going on. I'm going to jump into my best friend for a minute. I'm going to talk about Phil Insane because I feel like it needs to, and I got the platform to talk about
Do it.
Phil Insane. Do it. Phil Insane NHB 90, which is now sold out, I guess. Now it's sold out completely. There's no more seats available. It's sold out. And then they just announced NHB 92, Phil Insane versus Nathan Mowry, which is if you like storytelling and you like promos, you're going to get probably match with that. Covenant of the Goat, always strong.
My bad.
You're good. Now you sound like you're in a fucking airplane terminal. This is Boulevard Bullies. We're repping the damn thing.
Does that still sound like I'm in an airport terminal?
No, you sound crisp and clean now. You're sounding wonderful.
All right, continue. Hardcore Hillbilly's got
a shullet.
New haircut.
A shullet. I don't know what the hell that is. But
I sound lovely. No.
Larry, let's talk about something we never talked about. Let's talk about moves in pro wrestling. I don't think that's ever been addressed on the show.
I like it.
Top 5 moves in the wrestling business.
Your kids are going crazy.
Yeah, they are. I don't have an easy life.
It's okay. It's okay. Number one move for me ever in pro wrestling is the pile driver. It is the number one move to me as a child that I was like, that this guy's not getting hurt. And thrown into wrestling in the barrel driver, the tombstone, corkscrew, the Japanese seated. It's just an amazing piece of magic that can be done before your very eyes. That it's like, what did I just say? The Boss Man Slam, or the Black Hole Slam, or the Deep Six. It's okay. Yeah, you got a bunch of kids. Tell them I said, shut up. The Black Hole Slam. I'm gonna go with the fist drop. I'm gonna go with the off the top rope or second rope fist drop, or the DiBiase like falling fist drop.
I like that one, a very obscure one that's not very talked about. I'm going to throw one in there. My number 5, and I think nobody utilizes it anymore, and it's a damn shame. The original atomic drop.
It it almost made my list.
I,
It
s- I, s-
almost made my list.
I say the atomic drop because if you remember Bully Ray, and how he would take the atomic drop, if done correctly, it's one of the best moves to sell because you can go anywhere with it. You can hold your ass, you can hold your middle of your taint. You can go different avenues with it. Then I would say number 4, the crossface, done by the crippler crossface, done by the one Chris Benoit. Number 3, the diving headbutt. Number 2 is the Steiner recliner. And number 1 is the twisting corkscrew pile driver that the one Scott Steiner also did.
When I say pile driver, as like I wasn't giving my any rankings. When I say pile driver, that's all included, bro. Like all of the sit down and drive you on your head from your feet being straight up pile driver. All of them are in there.
Oh, I mean, I knew exactly where you were going with it.
I want to reiterate, and I want to give you my last two because I think I got two more.
You do.
Bro, number 2 is the motherfucking back rake. Do you hear me, Ick? The motherfucking hands on the scapula.
Tear that flash off.
I fucking love it. I don't know who I saw do it first. It may have been Mouse from NYWC, but they did like a back rake, and then the guy sold it, and then they did a front. They did a front torso rake. They did the fucking shit on the front too, dude. I was like, yes, torture him.
Yeah, it's. I like the back rake as well because it brings another intensity if done correctly. I think the last time I even saw a back rake done was last year. Redacted did it.
Yes, he's a wrestler that will utilize that type of move. And Evan Moore, former CZW World Champion, he told me that the key to the back rake is to really smack with the fucking like I'm about to do it. You same way with a chop that you wake everybody up with the back rake. You gotta get a good smack onto the. Here it comes.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, and my number one, a move that I can say that I've actually done, dude. The motherfucking get your hands off of me, double throat thrust. Oh my god, when I see it. Johnny Gargano, I don't care if it's AJ Styles, I don't care who it is. When I get your hands off me, double throat thrust. That's me, dude. That's me.
Can you technically classify gold dust as a throat thrust? Because I like the drop down.
Okay, I used to use that in the backyard. When I was a backyard wrestler, I used to use the drop down. You know what about the drop down is like eventually your opponents are gonna scout you. And they're gonna be like, okay, he's going to drop down and do the fucking throat thrust.
Hmm.
So it's not as kind of like organic as the like I'm picking a guy up from the ground after I just did a move. He fucking does the uh. It's not as organic because it's always in a vade. It's in always I put my head down and up. So yeah, I do consider it a throat thrust, double, the double as a transition.
Yeah, yeah, I can see
It
where you're
also
coming.
gives a it also gives a feeling of the Orient. I hate to use that term, but this is a fucking
Oh, yeah, the Fuji, the Fuji.
yes, dude, yes.
You got to watch your dogs around Fuji though. He'll serve them to you.
And your engine, the engine of your rental.
Now, let's I talk about moves because I feel like me and you, we can talk about a little something about what Brian and Patrick probably don't know about is when you when you're in this wrestling business, you have the indies and then you have the high caliber. You got the big leagues. Now, when you're a move guy, right? When you're a move guy and you come into this business and you try to master every move in hopes to go to the mainstream, a lot of wrestlers don't know you don't need all those moves to get to the mainstream. How can these people understand that and really branch off to where they need to go?
Well, for me, I mean, it's like incorporating like a shtick to the move. So the people's elbow ain't shit without, the worm ain't shit without, you know what I mean? So it's like when you find those little kind of things that you can do before you do the move, you know, let me brush my shoulders off. Fist drop. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is.
Mm.
It's not the move. It's the what is it that the fans can do with me when I do it. When I do the people's elbow, all the motherfuckers out in the crowd can be like going, because they know that's what I'm gonna do before I do it. Or to bring it close to home, the big boss man.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Here comes that boss man slam. See my finger up in the air? I'm signaling for it.
So with that said, then
That's what it's about.
So with that said, and you saying that exact thing, should you really go up to an inspiring wrestler and be like, you have to figure out something that's going to stick to the people before you even figure out a move. Figure out what you want that stick to be.
If you're not already, if you're just trying to copy Chuck Taylor's Soul Food, or you know what I'm saying? Like those moves that you saw for the first time, and you're like, oh shit, he just put his foot on his jaw and fucking pulled his arm out. And, you know what I mean? Like if you're just trying to replicate that and not trying to figure out your June Kasai, goggles down, panties down, and then a splash. That's all it is. All it is June Kasai getting up there, pulling his panties down, putting his goggles on, giving a salute, and then just doing a basic ultraviolet splash.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's legendary because of all that other he does before the splash. Oh, my pants are down. I'm wearing a thong. What the fuck am I watching? This guy's wearing a thong, goggles down. I saw it, and then the splash, bro. That's what it's about.
I last week I got to work and call a match for Beastman, and that was the very first time I got to work with Beastman, and he definitely he definitely doesn't fit the mold of what you think he would be like, because he's a humble guy and he's very light spoken. But when it comes to the match, he knows exactly what he's doing, and even if he makes a hiccup, he'll be quick to kind of change the way the match is gonna go. Like if he slipped a little and he came off the rope, and Puff had to kind of switch with it. That right there, that face right there, Larry. When I saw Puff versus Beastman, would you call Beastman a comedy wrestler?
No. I would call Puff a comedy wrestler.
Because
I would call Puff a comedy wrestler.
I would 100% call Puff a comedy wrestler. Now, if you're on the other side of Puff, now when you go into that match, are you going to think this is going to be a comedy match, or I'm going to be able to get my shit in?
Depends on the region. You know, Puff's a Buffalo boy.
He is.
He's a New Englander. So, you know, Beastman is very much a down south, that type of like, I'll wrestler, I would say, depending on where the match was happening, that's how those guys would go into it.
I didn't even know Puff and him had a history at all. Like I guess they had a match down in West Virginia, and it was already.
What did I just say?
It was Puff was up one already on Beastman, and I, of course, had to shout out Beastman's deathmatch prowess because people don't even know he's a deathmatch guy. So I'm sitting there going, well, I'm going to shout out he was in the Grand Prix.
I know him as.
And he was just announced he's doing the Grand Prix again. So he's going back to Japan.
Bro, there are not enough attractions in wrestling. And when I say attraction, I mean like cheeseburger, Chikataro, Beastman, like these kind of like Shockwave the robot. You know, these kind of like must be seen to like be believed. There are not enough of those, but Beastman is one of them. So it shocks me at no degree that he's being invited back to be a huge fucking gaijin. A sweaty, stinking fucking gaijin amongst all of those short Japanese people that are going to be like, ooh, like.
This one is a lot. Did you see the stipulations for this year's Grand Prix, though? It's a lot. It's different. It's a tag team Grand Prix. So it's not a solo. It's not a solo deathmatch tournament. It's a tag time thing. So,
I mean, that adds up for Japan. You know, Japan is about that like Dead or Alive. You know, the video game Dead or Alive, where it's like you tag your partner in, and that was at Onita in Tremont Stadium when I was part of team. You know, that was a battle royal where we were teams of 4. Like everybody came out in like quadrants of 4 into the battle royal. So that kind of like, I'm a team, and like I'm my team, like the World Cup. It's like right in line with the Japanese kind of like how it's an art form. It's not, it's an art more than sports.
yeah, it is an art form, and that's why I kind of stray towards. I wish the same respect could be over here for wrestling that it is over there, because it's kind of weird how some of the like Beastman, how he goes from Japan and it comes over here. That's another fact that makes wrestlers so damn unique, is the fact they can go somewhere where they're going to be treated like royalty, and then come here where they're just a little run-of-the-mill person.
Well, it's funny because I've fought Genzi about how, like, when Japan had a different type of prestige than going to Japan like now. But I guess Beastman is kind of like an exception, or kind of like a throwback to the way that it used to be. Where to get to Japan, you had to be like an attraction that the Japanese wanted to see. You couldn't just like kind of like a Jace be a part of another show that was already happening in Corrigan Call, and you did the afternoon show as like the showcase for the big show that night. And I know that just because following the game, just following the game, and was different about when you got invited for an excursion, or got invited to like a dojo to like travel the mountains of Japan to do this shit, like Too Cold Scorpio and Vader, as opposed to like here's the GCW photo in front of Rivera. Because, Kevin Gill and Merch Girl Dana, and we're all over here. We're, doing the thumbs up. That's not what it used to be. And it's kind of like, y'all are kind of like riding the coattails of what it once was, but you're not Beastman.
Yeah. So
you're not Beastman.
You're not Beastman. You don't have the husk to you. And the promo he cut. The only one that had Beastman. And that's saying something. You brought up Shellac, and Beastman took out Shellac in the first round. Still pisses people off to this day that happened. He'll probably do it again in this tag team shit. But that's what Japan expects from a King Kong monster. Mm-hmm. They're Godzilla. They want a King Kong monster to, And I dig it. I dig that shit. That makes me pop every time when I see a big man.
How do you only have one person watching?
Because nobody even knows. Nobody. Does anyone know what's going on? Nobody. Share the stream. Nobody even knows this is going on right now. We had 13 when we were going from yours. 13 when we were going from BlvdBullies. There are 3 now. Everybody was telling me, keep going, with my kids screaming in the back. I'm like, we shouldn't even have done it, but we're doing a damn thing.
We're doing
it. This is raw and uncut. How you get it is how you see it. This is called real television. That's what it is.
The new TV.
Phil Insane's been talking to me this whole time going, hey, man, you guys should have just went from Larry's to start with. And I said, well, where were you when this first thing started?
I used to do it this way with Cat Martini.
I don't even know why the audio was fucked up in the first place anyways. If yours came in...
It's not fucked up for me.
I don't have a...
It never has been.
It's anytime I try to be slick and do it with my phone and be lazy, something always happens that way. Every time. But...
I'm not going to say anything.
It's just laziness. That's what it was. On my part.
No, bro, it's that you're not on an iPhone.
Yeah, I hate iPhones, man.
I know you do. I know you do. All of you do.
I can't do an iPhone. But let's jump into some supposed drama that is GCW. We know Atticus Cogar is the new GCW World Champion, and he had a match that was supposed to take place for the Ultra Violent World Championship against Tremont. Now, though, it's Tremont versus Atticus for the World Championship. Not the Ultra Violent. Now it's for Addie's strap. But I think people miss something. Wasn't the Ultra Violent supposed to be almost like a one step to the world title? Like you could kind of take that belt and be like, here, I want a world title shot. Wasn't that how it was created, Larry?
I remember that title, and it kind of being like an equivalent to the world title. But I also kind of remember them not letting them streams be crossed.
Yeah, no swords crossing. No
yeah, so it's like, we got our main event match, and then we got our title match, but sometimes the Ultra Violent title would go last.
Yeah, I remember that.
You understand what I'm saying? We got our main event match, match, which is for the title, but that would sometimes go like 8. And the Ultra Violent title will go 11. So
So I think this is an interesting thing because I called last show that Addy is going to lose this belt immediately, ASAP. He's not going to have the ability to tell this story that he ultimately wants to tell. He's halfway to finishing it, but they're not going to allow it.
Now, are you saying that because you know that Addy some loyalty to Damn Daniel? And Brett knows that Damn Daniel will be like, bring the belt, bring the belt.
I'm saying that, and I'm also saying if you're a guy, any competitor, and you see Matt's name next to yours, the likeliness of you winning that match is probably slim to none. Am I correct in assuming that? I think so. If it Addy said in his promo, and I'm gonna say, I agree with what Addy said. He's like, the machine is kind of showing its colors, Larry. And Brett's like you right now. He's got his chest out, exposed, taco meat fully out. He's going, Addy, I got you right where I fucking want you. Now I'm gonna pull the rug right from your fucking. Here's my guy.
Listen. I stay out of other people's affairs. I don't know what Addy and Danny have, what, Brett and Addy have. I don't know. But I'm going to say, Atticus has never been the American Deathmatch champion, has he?
I think he was for a very short time, too. Like, maybe a week. No.
Really?
No. You remember he was the American Deathmatch champion, and then Danny took that break, and Addy was the champion at that time. Remember? Addy was the champ when Danny took that break, and then Addy went back to GCW. Now he's the world champion. It's a weird revolving door of this wrestling business. That's
why Rob Black was like, "There's no winner. There will never be a winner in this game besides the bigs." And speaking of the bigs, what do we? Did we already talk about them? We don't give a fuck about them. Let's keep talking about indies.
We can talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about, Larry. I mean, there's two people checking it out, and there's one person's putting flags all over your shit. I don't know what's going on right now.
I'm sharing it.
I shared it too, and Phil immediately commented. I feel if I didn't have to work and I had all day to prepare for this shit would have been so smooth. But instead, it's running like a wrestling show does sometimes, just spontaneous and chaotic.
Here it's smooth.
But since you connected, this thing's been spot on the whole time. John Richter's in here.
I see you, Johnny. Johnny. I tagged Rob Black in a story on IG. And he turned the chat into disappear mode.
Now, does that mean like a block?
I don't think he knows what it means.
Yeah, because once you disappear chat, that means you're no longer homies anymore, I'm sure.
Right. But I think what he kind of was like to mute me. I think what he really was trying to do was like mute me so that if I ever tagged him, he didn't even see it. But he like when you swipe the chat up to go into disappear mode, he did that, and when you do that, it says like, let's say it was you, Icarus Toxin. It would say like Icarus Toxin has gone into disappear mode, and I was like, okay. So then I just swiped my chat up to go into disappear mode too. So we're both in disappear mode.
Maybe Rob got sucked into another vortex. I don't know. I mean, I'm waiting for the announcement to just spontaneously combust one of these days, where it's just Rob and he comes on and he goes, "Hey, you want to know what?
Hey Simon, Simon and Johnny, can you share this into Deathmatch Arena and Deathmatch United? Because like we have like 4 people watching, and we had like 13 when it was coming from Boulevard Bullies. Can you like share it and be like, hey, Larry is doing things with Ick?
Larry's got a goddamn channel, and I got out of
Well,
work.
I mean, we couldn't hear us when we were Boulevard Bullies.
I could hear you, but I had to put my fucking ear to the damn microphone on my phone. Like,
I don't know what that was all about.
See, now if it was a wrestling show, you know me.
Thank you, Simon.
Yeah, thank you.
And happy belated birthday!
What, he had a birthday too?
He's born on the same day as me, Jerry Lawler.
Man, you guys.
November 29th.
Did you have a cake?
I got a baked Alaska. On the house.
On the house. That's anytime you get it on the house, that's where it is. Now, let's jump into yeah, fuck it. Jump into the bigs. What do you want to talk about the bigs?
How about how big Swerve is? Did you see how large that man is now?
See, I heard you say that last week, and I saw him at the Super Closh. He was hiding, and nobody knew he was there.
They do that. They do that.
Now, when I saw him, I was bigger than him.
Really?
But I'm a chubby guy.
That is not chub on him. That is not chub on him.
He's
the big
ripped
I'm talking about is not no chub.
Yeah, he's ripped. He's ripped.
Yeah, his neck alone.
Oh, he's.
I was watching him do an interview where he was talking about how Javon Evans is way better than him, but that he has more experience than Javon Evans, so eventually Javon Evans will get to his level. And as I was looking, I was like, that doesn't even look like it doesn't even look the same.
Yeah, he was at the Super Closh. He was hiding. But he was sticking out like a sore thumb. I don't even know why wrestlers even try to really hide. Stand outside if you want to hide, because you're gonna get caught real fast. Like MJF, he gets caught every show he's at trying to hide, but that's on purpose. I think he wants to get caught.
They want to be seen on the scene. I do too.
Well, yeah, you want to be seen, but a lot of people don't want to be seen, but they get
not just seen. Seen on the scene. Like every Mania, I try to go to well, not anymore because it's now. But when Wally Mania first was the shit, I was always trying to be on that red carpet. Now it's like you buy a ticket. It's like Private Mania. The celebrities are going to come on stage. They're not just going to be mingling amongst you. And it's like a main like machine. Whereas it used to was kind of like CBGBs.
The old CBGBs, man. I love when that gets brought up because I miss that place.
I went there once.
I got to see the outside of it. That was about it, and I'll take it. I'll take it.
Well, towards the end, it was actually very cheap to rent it. And a guy that I knew who was like undergrad at NYU just wanted to do like kind of like hire up at all the Starbucks and you can come see me at CBGB's. He rented it for like a few hours, and I went in there and heard music.
was playing? You remember that?
I mean, the guy's name was his name is Richard Spearenberg. He was an NYU music major that I knew from a long time ago. But he went to NYU. I was a New Yorker, and he invited me to like his like concert. You know, it was like a thing that like no one was going to. Like, I'm just posting flyers up Post and Starbucks. I'm like, come see my concert.
I have memories of the Agora Theater.
Why do I know that name?
That's Ohio. That's Ohio. That was one of the biggest concert venues in Ohio. Was the Agora. If you were like a metal hardcore fan, that's where you would go, was the Agora Theater. And when I see places like CBGB's, did they ever run a wrestling show out of CBGB's? Ever?
I do not believe so. I do not believe so. I would have been able to be like, yeah, no way.
See, in my personal opinion, that's a fucking crime, because that's a perfect.
No Casanova Valentine during the heyday of CBGB's. Valentine.
See, I knew you were gonna say that name.
Hi, Jaime. Jaime, you're in trouble. Jaime's in the chat. Jaime, you're in trouble. You're in trouble.
What's he in trouble for? What happened? What's going down? Spill the dirt.
Jaime, you got on Facebook and piled on SV and Mike with everybody else that was like, SV and Mike owes me money. SV and Mike has not gotten me my merch. And, I check in on SV and Mike. Me and SV and Mike, we get along. And SV and Mike was like so mad and hurt by you, Jaime, for piling it on him being a bad promoter.
Yeah, that was pretty hot.
You know what I'm talking about? Look, I see you, Jaime. You'll tell me later. I know, Jaime. I love you, but I'm gonna say I get along with everybody. I get along with DJ. I get along with fucking Danny McDevitt. I get along with all the people. I'm like consigliore. So I talked to Mike, and he's like, that fucking Jaime. Why did you do that? And I'm like, I just wanted to see how your show went. He was like, I'm so mad at him.
I'm lost in a cloud.
I know, Jaime. I'm sorry.
I'm lost in a cloud of smoke over here, man.
Hey, I'm gonna join you, and Jaime is probably right there too. But I just know that the last time I heard about you, or that you were brought up to me, Mike was so mad. He was like, I can't believe Jaime jumped on that fucking brush fire and was like, I'm bad.
So, Larry, this is a question for you. You've been in this business for a very long time. You've been around the ringer. You've seen about everything. What is, if Larry Legend could have one last run at announcing, what would be the perfect vibe for you to retire in and have your last hurrah? What would be the perfect vibe? What is your perfect vibe when it comes to wrestling?
My perfect vibe is like to die while announcing. If I died at Tournament of Death 22 when all that lightning was happening and all the trees were. If I died right there announcing Judge Joe Dredd versus Flat, I would be Larry Legend. there would be no motherfucker that would ever say and listen to died. He fucking loved it so much he died in a fucking rainstorm
You
in a
literally
death match.
you literally had no more voice left, and that is the perfect scenario. But that's what would you want that every single time if you were to go out there? Would you want that every time so you could have that experience every single time?
So listen, you just mentioned something about my voice going out.
Yep.
And like, I'm gonna say 10 years ago, I would have taken like a lot of exception to that. But wrestlers like Drake and Sammy and Ruckus and Schlatt have all told me that like me getting to like the end of my rope actually adds to the fucking show. That I shouldn't fucking sound like some fucking TV guy, though. But then by the time that we're at the end of the tournament of death, you should be as spent as the wrestlers who have gotten to the tournament just by announcing them all the way to the finals.
That's a perfect way of summing it up because I was just about to chime off what you said. You said you would get upset if this was Larry back in the day. You would have got upset that I said your voice went out. But when I don't,
because I didn't want that like brought to light. But another thing that I've noticed is that when I've reviewed my own work, when like I'm like at the very end, it's also like my best. Like I did the Ricky Champagne versus Man did not talk backstage, but I was to do this in the fucking arena for the main event, and I bodied that intro. At the end of my fucking road. So like when I have actually reviewed the times in my head that when I'm doing it I sound the worst. It's like some of the best that I've ever sounded in my career that I would be like, oh yeah, WWE, here's my take. Here's my fucking take of what I'm gonna sound like at the end of WrestleMania. And every motherfucker out there is gonna come.
I feel WWE would look at that, and this isn't an insult in any way, shape, or form, because I will say this until I'm in a casket. You are the best announcer at setting something off, and you know exactly what I mean by saying that. You're the best at setting something off because that's what a lot of announcers don't do anymore because every announcement sounds exactly the fucking same. And then when it comes to the co-main and main event, there's no more goddamn love for it. It just sounds stale and ran out.
What you just said, when I do them MMA and the Muay Thai shows and shit, I can always like pick the crowd up by mentioning the first female fight of the night. I can always like get everyone like, oh shit, like by saying like, and this is the co-main event of the evening, and they're like, oh shit, that means the good guys are really gonna fight. We're about to get to the main event. So it's just like the little things that like make you more of a host than an announcer.
So, this is kind of dropping knowledge on people that want to be an
Hey,
announcer.
thank you for sharing. We're up to 6. We're up to 666.
So for if anybody out there and is hearing this and they want to be an announcer, I'm gonna try to jump into the mind of Larry Ford, so you can get figure out how to be a better announcer. So if you're gonna announce a whole show, and let's say there's 10 matches on it. Let's say there's 9, maybe.
Yep.
There's an intermission in between it. At the 4th match, there's an intermission.
Okay.
Should you realistically gas out after the intermission and take it easy before, or should you just go balls out for the whole thing?
It's all kind of dependent on the show.
So
It's all kind of dependent on the show.
let's say you're starting out. Say you're starting out. You're fresh. This is Larry Legend's first show. He's about to let loose. How are you going to captivate more announcing jobs? Should you kind of go off, or should you take it easy and then main go off?
I mean, it depends on the show. Like, is it NYWC Psycho Circus? Or is it NYWC Tortoise Circus? Do you understand what I'm saying? I understand, are you doing a show in, Bumblefuck, or are you doing a show at the theater at Madison Square Garden?
Let's say you're breaking out and you're in Indiana, and there ain't really no wrestling out there in your area. How are you going to break into it?
Dude, just have a good suit. Imitate me. Imitate J. Rose. Imitate Emil. And be available. Open up your hole to, a promoter like Gary Emmett or any of these Indiana guys that, do shows and look like you're there to work.
And another fucking thing about announcing that you need to solve problems on is the way all these announcers now do the thing at the end of every damn syllable that they say. Is that appropriate? Why are they doing this? Where did that start from? Why does everybody put the on the ends of shit?
What you mean, like Ricochet? Like Ricochet?
Yeah. Scene everything has a gunther. Why that? That's not even how you pronounce his name, so why are people doing this stupid shit at the end of everything?
Well, I'm going to tell you that a lot of the times, if you're doing the intro right, by the time you get to the end of the person's name, is right when the crowd is swelling with their applause. So it actually doesn't matter what you say at the very end if the name is because if you're doing it right by the time you're getting to, as soon as they hear that goo, they're like, this is my guy, this is my guy, this is who I paid to see, this guy's awesome, blah, 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 and you're drowned out. So I don't know where that comes from, but I'm going to say as an announcer, sometimes that saved my ass. Like when I had to announce Matt Riddle versus Dan the Beast Severn at the first ever Joey Janela Spring Break. Think of that card, the first ever Joey Janela Spring Break. Everything that I had announced up until Dan the Beast Severn versus Riddle. I was done. I was done. But because the intro was so revered by the crowd, like they wanted to clap for the announcement of Dan Severn versus Riddle, the crowd kind of covered for when it was time for me to say the end of their names by being oh, Larry just did this intro, doing their whole tail of the tape and setting the table and making this shit sound and feel big. That even though I trailed off and I couldn't even hold out the last parts, it was perfect. It was perfect. And listen, here's a little tip. It's a shame only 2 people are watching, but there are only 2 times ever that I can remember Brett telling me that I did a good job right after I did what I did. And it was after the Dan the Beast Severn versus Riddle intro and Joey Janela Spring Break 1. And it was after the Sausage Janela intro after Spring Break 2. Both times after I powered through both those intros. And think about what Spring Break was. Spring Break 1 and Spring Break 2. Where my motherfucking ass was at the end of them shows. I can ever remember Brett just telling me, like, good job, Larry. It's okay. I don't care. I don't care. But no, Schlack and Drake and Ruckus and those guys let me know that no, you sound great. You sound great for the beginning, the middle, and the end. And by the end, if you don't sound shredded, then we don't want you announcing. Because the whole crowd, the whole building should be shredded by the end.
That's in truth. I mean, I've seen and filmed a lot of wrestling in the short time I've been doing this production shit, and there is nothing worse than a deflated wrestling crowd because it kills everything. It's like a comedy thing. You ever seen a comedian bomb? It's
Yes.
rough. It's
I had a point, but I lost it. About you know what used to do that is the tapings. Like the Ring of Honor tapings, when they would just do like taping after taping after taping. And even though you saw something like excited on one of the tapings, or you were guaranteed one huge thing on the tapings, it was like the waiting for the next one to start, and them like kind of talking to you like, we're about to do TV now, another episode of TV, we need you on your feet. And then by the end of it, those fans were like, oh God, let me go home. Like, I'll just watch this on TV. I'm over this.
Yeah, I've seen people literally fall asleep and they're just sitting front row. They spent the tickets to get front row and they're just literally sleeping, passed out. It's absolutely insane. But Braun Breaker cut a promo on CM Punk.
I heard.
I don't know why I kind of transitioned to that so fast because Scott Steiner. It comes to my mind. Why didn't they just name him Steiner? Because it's not like are they still trying to make it seem like he doesn't come from a Steiner because you can hear it. He talks the same. The promo was like watching Scott. It's a miss, Larry. I think that's what I'm ultimately trying to say. It's a miss. Why wouldn't you just name him Steiner?
I think because Steiner is a name that has a lineage to the NWA, just like Rhodes. And even though Vince is not in charge, he's got to have his TM on everything. That is the fruit of his loins. And I also believe that Rick and Scott the Steiners as the kind of like woke Me Too kind of culture permeates. I don't think that they're gonna be like seen as like heroic or like revered type figures, so I think distancing themselves from that name for his future is better for business.
I completely get where you're coming from if you jump down that further rabbit hole of the dark shit of what the Steiners really. I wouldn't say what they were because I feel like if you think a certain way, it's too hard to really change it. You know what I mean? It's too far to back. Maybe they still feel some of the way that they did. I don't really fucking know. But I still feel it's a miss. It's a miss for WWE to really still capture the Steiners because they still showcase them. You know what I'm saying? They're in video games still. You can
yeah, the old school mentality of the McMahons, who are lineage of like father, grandfather.
Mhm.
It's like what solidifies our business as a real shit is if the kids are in it. Like make another version of Rocky Johnson called The Rock. I think that is not like what they're into as much anymore. I feel that Mysterio and who we just talking about, Cody. Like those are the last of this kind of like, oh, this is the son of this guy.
Well,
This is the nephew of Wyndham. I don't think that they're as hard for that as when Vince was kind of like, these are my toys, and this is the father of this toy, and my grandfather of this toy. I don't think that that's as a deal as much anymore. But congratulations to Lash Legend and Trick. Can you imagine the motherfucking children they're gonna fucking produce? It's kind of sad. Like they're gonna be wrestlers.
the younger generation is going to have some pretty good talent to watch and watch them develop. I don't know how long I'm going to be on this earth for, and I'm seeing all these people hooking up that are probably going to create super athletes, because really that's all WWE's looking for now is these
Do you think
super
that
athletes.
Megan Bain and Joey will have a child?
Well, that's not going to be.
Imagine.
Do we really want that or need it?
That might be the greatest child ever born to this earth.
It could. It's very possible. I don't. I think that should really hold off for a while. I think they should just focus on what they're doing.
Joey's getting old. He's fighting Liger. He's only doing GCW and big shit.
He might be. I don't know. I'm afraid of that one. I don't know what.
I don't know either. I'm just fucking.
I don't know, but.
Hey, we're up to 5 viewers. Share for the last 8 minutes. Share for the last 8 minutes. Everyone watching. Please share because no one knows my channel.
Well, how the hell can they not know your channel? That doesn't even make sense. How long you've had?
I'm an early adopter. I'm an early adopter of the YouTube.
When did you break your virginity on the YouTubes?
2006.
See, you've been on for a while. People should know this.
I didn't care. I was more about the Book of Faces. And the Larry Bird, that little blue bird. I was all about that. I was like, fuck YouTube. But now I'm older and I'm like, oh, let me fucking publish all this shit.
Yeah, you see, you got plenty of stories to tell.
Look, we got 7 viewers. Come on, share.
John Richter just said he's waiting for a whole spill.
I just told y'all the story. I tagged Roberto Negro in a old post of him and me like laughing maniacally and shaking hands, and he disappeared me, which I love because he so I actually kind of loved it. I'm like, wow, he really did disappear.
So Chris Statlander.
I loved it.
Chris Statlander's taking on Mercedes Moné again. It was announced that they will be taking another match. Is Chris Statlander the kryptonite of Mercedes Moné?
I think that Chris Statlander is the Britt Baker that we all wanted and hoped for.
I can agree with that.
That's what I think. And I think that Chris is going to do business, and she's going to do good business. And now it's going to be about like, oh, Mercedes, got all these, but the one you can't get, the bitch you can't tap, is my ass.
Now, this might be a far reach, Larry, but I'm going to throw it out there because it's just who I am. I throw some illogical things out there sometimes, and sometimes they make sense. Chris Statlander, why or when will she? When will she say, "Hey, Mercedes, I'm your kryptonite. How about my strap for every single one of yours?"
I guess whenever they have their biggest audience, the Wembley, if they go back to Wembley.
Is that possible to even do that? Because I mean, isn't that all AEW sanctioned? See, that captivates me because that's a match that's probably never happened. I don't think anybody's ever had multiple titles and said, "Hey, you want to know what? I'll take all 13 of my belts and I'll put it up for just your world championship." I think that's
Well, we
one of
dropped
some.
down to 3 viewers, but does anyone know that time? Or maybe Ultimo Dragon or Houston Thunder the Liger put on all their belts.
Severed had 4 at one point, didn't he?
Severn, when I would like that match that I did with him and Riddle at the first spring break. He had everybody come out with his belts.
Yeah, I think it was 4, but that's money for Tony if he really pulled that trigger because I think Chris Statlander, if she won every single one of those belts from Mercedes, that's actually history for her, and I think she's the hardest worker in that fucking company. Besides Mercedes.
Willow works hard.
She does work hard, but they're never going to put her where she really needs to be. I don't see her pushing too
She
far.
beat Mercedes in Japan.
Yeah, but what else has she done after that? That's the issue.
Yeah, you're right.
She's a Keith Lee.
Yeah, you're right. But at
It's
least we
fucking
see her.
sad.
We don't see Keith's ass.
Last time I saw him, he had like gray hair. Like he spray painted his shit gray. I don't really know. I kind of agree with him. You haven't watched it, so I don't want to waste any. I don't want to ruin anything, but I will agree highly with a lot of those. It didn't suck. It didn't suck. It was just a routine WWE show, realistically. I mean, even the production, they didn't really do anything too phenomenal to really, oh, this was out of sorts, or this was supposed to happen, or this is shocking. Even when a shocking moment happened, it was just routine shit. The only good thing was the stare that Liv gave to Cena. She nailed the same exact look that the Rock gave, that Cena gave to Cody.
Now, what you're talking about is what WWE does best. It's the moments.
Yeah,
It's the moments for the video package to take you to the next one. And moves cannot compete with moments, dude. I'm sorry.
Somebody just said that I'm the liver king, and that's not even close. I don't eat organs or balls or anything like that. I'm not liver king, but that's a good one. That was a good one. I will give you kudos on that. You don't know who the hell the liver king is? The liver king is the dude that's challenging Joe Rogan to a fight, like an MMA fight. He's been stalking Joe Rogan for like 2-3 years or something, and he eats organs.
Do he resemble you?
This is the problem, Larry. When you have a long beard, you're cursed to look like everybody else. I think I look like Brett Kiesel from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm fine with that one. Liver King, not so much, because he's disgusting, and I know his shit probably reeks because he eats fermented shit. So, it's humorous. But I don't know. Hey, that's a question for you. What do you think of these people that eat organs? raw meat, fermented pig eggs.
Well, at one point I wanted to be a vampire in real life.
What you say? They're vampires?
I wanted to be a vampire.
Say, see, I wanted to be a werewolf.
See?
But then I researched how the transition is. I think we are going to really suffer very painful transitions to become what we really want to be. You want to suck blood and have perfect complexion and have crisp skin like your chest is exposed right now and looking prim and proper. You want to be a sexy vampire and I want to be a hairy werewolf. And a werewolf's spine completely separates from itself. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
And a vampire, Larry, do you really want to never feel your jawline ever again?
I just when I was a kid, I thought it was very romantic. I guess I kind of caught on to the fact that it was very gay. Like the killing is very gay. It's not like horrific. It's like almost like, oh, you're sucking me to death.
Sucking them dry. That's where the expression came from, I guess, is vampires and sucking them dry. Like, I don't like the supposed gay vampires because they made vampires look terrible. I like the more fierce vampires. I'll even settle for Eddie Murphy vampires.
I mean, they're Lost Boys and Vampire in Brooklyn. And then there's like Dracula and Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. Like they're very like kind of suave, kind of like, yo, is this guy gay? Like, is he just a vampire? Like it's like so.
Well, I think every vampire, they don't really have any kind of sex. They go anywhere.
No, because Anne Rice said that the sucking of the blood is like 20 times better of a feeling than any orgasm that your loins could provide. Like when you suck the blood,
That's
it
so
feels
weird.
like.
It's so weird that you're saying that because I actually like other places drink blood as a ritual thing. And after time, I heard that your brain gets smarter and you develop different senses from drinking blood. It's kind of weird.
Well, you remember Candyman? The
Original Candyman,
when
when he kidnapped the child,
there was a
there
scene
was
where
a
they were
scene where
showing him feeding the child blood because he was not a woman newborn. But
I
I learned
learned
from
through
Candyman
Candy
that if you don't have any milk to feed a baby, you can feed
can
them
feed them
blood
blood
to
to
get
get
the
the
nutrients that
nutrients
they
that they
need to
need to
grow.
grow.
That is.
It's
It's
got
got
enough
enough
nutrients
nutrients
and
and
protein
protein
in
in
that.
that.
That's
That's
similar
similar
to
to
what you
what you
find
find
in
in
milk.
milk.
So
So
when
when Candyman
Candyman
had
kidnapped
kidnapped
that
that
little
little
baby,
baby,
and
and
there you
there you
can
can
see
see
where
where
he
he
takes
takes
his
his
bloody
bloody
hook
hook
and
and
he
he
lets
lets
the
the
baby
baby
start
start
to
to
suckle
suckle
it.
it.
The
The
baby
baby
starts
starts
to
to
suckle
suckle
his
his
bloody
bloody
hook.
hook.
I remember that being depicted in several movies, actually. I've seen that a couple times in different movies. Actually seen it in a lot of National Geographics that, like, imagine a United States of America where people, instead of walking around with bottles of formula, are walking around with the old plasma in their bottles instead.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like at one point, I wanted to be a
A
vampire.
vampire.
I wanted at one point I wanted to be a vampire, and I like researched how I would be able to get blood, like how I would be able to get.
Fresh blood to like nourish my body.
What did you already find out what blood bank you were gonna rob and everything? Like you had everything planned out?
No, you gotta go to like a butcher.
Oh, you
You gotta go to like a butcher.
right there. You gotta call up Phil Insane and he'll take care of you. He's got all kinds of that.
Or the necro.
Or
He'll give you
Necro.
some of that He'll give you some of that blood that'll make you grow.
We don't know where you're going to grow, but you're going to grow somewhere.
All right, we got up to seven
Hey,
viewers.
hey,
We
Larry,
was
I
like
look at it.
13 that will lose Boulevard Bullies.
Hey, Larry, I look at it this way. We gave Patrick and Brian three different things. We had me and you, where I couldn't hear a damn thing. Then we had another one that's on the tube of me getting mad at my kids. And then we have me now interviewing Prince. Because right now you resemble Prince with the old, you look phenomenal right now, Larry. You look like you're about to go shoot some kind of silver screen masterpiece right now. That's what you look like.
I
We
dressed
we should
myself.
have we should have started like this, but at least we
It's
gave it to you.
okay.
Okay.
We got
We got
5 viewers right now. At the height, I
At the
saw
height, I saw
7.
7. On the other one, so we did our D.
Hey, we did it. We did it. I don't know what's going to take place next week. I don't know if Patrick's going to be back. They're decapitating cattle. I don't know. I don't know really what they're doing. They could just be lying to us and watching us screw this whole thing up, but successfully because we made it work somehow.
Let me just read a comment.
Yeah, shoot.
Johnny says Candyman is almost certainly wait. Candyman is almost considered a true story. If I recall, a woman was robbed and murdered because someone came in through her bathroom mirror in the projects depicted in the movie in Chicago.
Huh.
But he didn't have a hook, and he didn't do that to multiple people, but they just based the lore of Candyman off of an
Actual murder where it was like, wow, what if someone was like hiding in your mirror and waiting to come out to rob you and kill you?
That petrifies the absolute shit out of me, because mirrors freak me out in general, anyways.
Well, it's kind of linked to the lore of Bloody Mary.
Oh yeah,
Like the kind of like incantation into a mirror, and then something appears behind you in real life.
Did you ever see the WWE movie Mirrors that they came out with? Dude, that movie is intense as fuck. When I saw that, there's a part in the movie where this girl grabs her mouth like that and she's looking in the mirror, and the mirror starts doing what she's not doing, but she's doing it. When I saw that, I started looking at my mirror a lot more differently than before.
I try not to ever look at the mirror.
Mirrors, it's another pathway. It's something I don't really want to know what's on that other side of that mirror. Sometimes movies need to really watch what they're doing, because they make adults still think, people. I'll still think when I'm 41 years old.
Gotta say one thing. Even though we only have 3 viewers, Rhea Ripley wore an Art the Clown mask.
Oh, you're.
Jens wants me to mention Rhea Ripley wore an Art the Clown mask. I guess kind of to solidify his art's an icon theory.
See, I will never ever call him an icon. I just won't.
Okay. No, I don't say you should never ever call him an icon. I would just say that this early on in his arrival, to thrust him up to the level that other motherfuckers like kind of like pave the way to even be like, we have horror movie icons. It's like You're rushing.
Yeah, he's the hype. He's the hype right now. It's the in thing. It's almost like a fucking challenge. It's like the hot chip challenge. It really is. If you can endure a Terrifier movie, you're a different caliber person anyways, because I don't want to watch that for a whole damn movie just mangling and
But that, and this is also my argument against. All Hallows Eve is great. All Hallows Eve and the first Terrifier are great.
But then it's almost like Skynet became self-aware. And then it was like Lady Gaga
And all of it, everybody's on it, and the machine is moving. And you're like, yo,
it was
great back when only I knew about it.
I don't know how you feel about that excessive gore crap. I don't know how you how I don't get it. I don't get it.
So here's what I'm gonna say. When I got introduced to porn, it was like a movie, like a plot, like, and the sex scenes would break out. Then eventually I started finding the movies that were just like scene, 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 scene. No, like, it's just like, it's into it. And they have their place. Art the Clown is like that. And I'm more like, from an era of like, edging to my cum.
Yeah, I want to be toyed with a little bit.
Boogie Nights.
Yeah, I want to be. Oh, this is gonna get a little bit excessive.
Force Hump.
Yeah. What's the pirate one?
That's where I come from. And I love scene, 8 hours of nothing but anal. You know, I love that. I love that too. But I also know that what led me to even knowing that that could be a thing is, you know, Jaws, the shit that became iconic. And I'm not gonna like pretend that now, because we're so fast and it's such at our fingertips,
that anything can be iconic
now
as long as it's popular. As long as everybody likes it and it's out there, then it's iconic. No. Let's wait and let's see where the whole society and shaping and molding of films and shit goes.
People have lost their way. They want to jump the gun way too damn fast with everything.
I think the way that I'm talking is making us lose viewers, so you should play us out. I think everyone's like, Larry's talking crazy.
I'm play. It doesn't matter what we say right now. This is just raw and uncut.
Well, I wanted to give you. I mean, we started late, so I wanted to give you a little extra, but I gotta go.
Yeah,
you gotta go.
Too. But so you want me to play it out? This is your channel.
Oh, that's right. Now we're on my channel.
Yeah, this is your channel.
No wonder
there's no.
That's terrible.
I'm sorry.
That don't make no difference.
Hey, to the 7 tops that we had on this broadcast, to Simon Ginkeen, to Johnny Richter, to everybody that tuned in with no Pat and no Brian, we thank you. Sorry we had to deal with so many things like audio, restarts, rechannel distribution. But you know what?
We're bullies. We bull. We bull our way through it. And that's what we did tonight. So, to all of our haters, die slow, out of time, bye-bye. Share this, because people probably didn't even know we were doing this on my channel. Share it, please. Ren and everybody else who's over the audio, share it. Captain Dave, share it. And then I gotta end it, right? I gotta end it.
Yeah,
I gotta end it. All right, bye, y'all. Bye.